Long ball number 3 here on Monday morning. It was the FA Cup fifth round. Did you realize that? I think we did, and there was plenty of action. Your team. I know that you put some wagers on these sort of things in your other job. So why don't we start there? There's quite a few to chat about. Lots of FA Cup games, but Manchester United overcome by Fulham in penalties.
Yeah, that one. I will not say that it was a resplendent match of the game we call football. Like, I'm not saying it was necessarily a great watch.
You're not putting it on the wall?
No, it was, Bassi gets the goal for Fulham, and
That was all right goal.
Bruno friend. It was a good goal. Great reaction off the sort of ping pong situation. Bruno Fernandes with a goal for Manchester United. And it certainly feels like if anybody's going to save Manchester United these days, it's Bruno Fernandes, right? He's like the one guy that you can sort of count on to step up and do something. So
I've never seen another player's form sullied by an incoming transfer more than Bruno Fernandes, because he was becoming one of the world elite players. They bring in Cristiano Ronaldo, and he's still recovering to get back to that level of importance and status within that United squad.
Yeah, it's been a while. I mean, the whole team has collapsed, right? But he is obviously he occasionally will pop up and do something. And the problem here for Ruben Amorim is like, how important was this competition? Now he's got a balance going for this versus obviously the league, and the farther United sink in the league, and I don't know if we're really, the idea of them being sort of a relegation fodder side is a step beyond where I think they are. Like, I think they're all going to be okay in that regard. I know, but still, 14th position is not where Manchester United is supposed to be. So do you kind of focus on the league because, well, that's terrible, that's the worst United team anybody can possibly remember, or do you lean into the FA Cup because that's the one thing that United has going for them, right? They were the holders. This is what Ten Hag actually managed to accomplish, was winning an FA Cup. And
so look poison chalice, the FA Cup, if you're a United manager.
That might be true. You look at the team he rolled out there, Christian Eriksen, who's not usually first 11 these days, Højlund, Xerxes, who's been a disaster. Højlund and Xerxes on the field at the same time is probably driving United fans nuts. Again, Mazraoui gets a start. Garnacho comes in and does some things but can't finish. It was such a classic Garnacho performance in that way. Anyway, big for Fulham to win on penalties. Didn't necessarily. I'm not sure I had a lot of confidence going into the penalty kick shootout. Our guy Jedi Robinson with one of the iciest penalty kicks I've seen in a very long time. Just completely cool, calm, collected. Didn't exert himself. Just basically like, all right, Onana's going to go the wrong way, rolls it in the other side. Like, it was extremely cool what Jedi Robinson did when he scored his penalty kick. So, but coming back to this, obviously for Manchester United out of this tournament, Amorim is now going to have to deal with the fallout of this and what it means for United season, that they can't even go after the FA Cup. They get knocked out by a Fulham side who I think hadn't beaten Manchester United in an FA Cup in like more than 100 years. More than like 1904 or 1908, something like that is the last time this had happened. So, it's kind of history on that regard as much as anything else. So we got the quarterfinal draw. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say those sort of statistics of, teams having beaten Manchester United in X amount of years, I feel like comes almost on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. Nowadays
history keeps getting made, right?
Yeah, on the downslide history, because there's been so many, like, this is the first, I think it was either Crystal Palace or Bournemouth, where it was multiple decades since they'd won there, and I think Brentford did that. Was there these teams just keep on getting results at Old Trafford, and it's astonishing the monumental placeholders and importance of United and their performances, especially at home, just toppling week after week.
Well, so I obviously we're talking FA Cup here. We just talked AC Milan. We're talking FA Cup. Manchester United's problems. I put that question in. Who would you rather be a fan of? What club looks like it has a brighter immediate future? And Scott says AC Milan because they have a better chance of fixing their problems. United's problems have been going on way too long. Yeah, it probably that does feel right to me. It is. I would say Milan, relative to their situation, has better chance of getting it together than it looks like United does right now. So United's out. Quarterfinal set, draw set. Fulham gets Crystal Palace, which is just about as the best you could have hoped for, I think, in this round. If you are, I mean, we do have what, Preston is still involved in this tournament.
Yeah,
So
Preston
we do
got a
have
win.
one lower division team. So I guess Aston Villa gets the kindest draw, but they have to go away to Preston to play that. Bournemouth gets Manchester City. So ouch there for Tyler Adams and the boys and
Speaking of cool penalties, did you see the no run up penalty that the Bournemouth player made?
I did not see that one. I did not see that.
So, the forward for Bournemouth, his name is escaping me. He puts the ball down in the penalty spot. He's waiting over it. Referee blows his whistle, and he just puts his right foot through it and taps it into the side. The goalie wasn't even ready yet.
Wasn't even ready. That's great. Yeah, be on your toes. Be on your toes. Brighton progressed as well. So Brighton took down Newcastle up at St. James's Park, which is obviously, surprise. A couple of red cards in that game as well. Extra time. That game went to extra time with Welbeck getting the winner.
Nice
in the
goal.
114th minute. And that, when do we get 10v10 extra time FA Cup knockout soccer?
That's like NHL rules right? For overtime there.
Yeah, we used to do replays, and I at one point, because of the bet I had on the radio with United Fulham, I was like, maybe I would prefer a replay. I could kick the can down the road on paying off a bet if I lose. Ended up winning, so maybe I'll be good on that. There's a game today that will be, by the time people watch this video, might have already happened. Nottingham Forest and Ipswich Town, and Forest is having this incredible season. Ipswich, wouldn't it be nice for them to make a semifinal of an FA Cup and get a trip to Wembley and all that stuff that goes with that? So that'd be fun.
Yeah, that would definitely be a highlight for. I'm sure Ipswich fans are probably in a funny position. They're back into the Premier League for the first time in a generation, but they're getting creamed just about every single week. So that's an interesting position to be in. So getting a FA Cup win would be good.
Should we mention? You brought it up to me, and I had to go watch it again. But should we mention what happened in the Palace Millwall match?
Yes, I think that's one of the biggest notes of the FA Cup round was Millwall goalie doing some very Millwall things, and then the coach. I mean, granted, the Millwall coach, what is he going to bury his player? But he acted like it was not a big deal. But Crystal Palace forward Jean-Philippe Mateta was left needing 25 stitches after suffering a severe laceration to his ear and head following a kung fu kick challenge from Millwall goalkeeper Liam Roberts.
It's not even really the stitches, which is bad, right? Yes, blood and all those things. But if you're getting clobbered like that in your head, you're dealing with a concussion. You're dealing with something, your brain's rattling around in there. And that would be what I would be concerned about for Mateta, who's had a very good season. Like, he's popped up in very important moments. He's a fun player to watch. I like him a lot, and I'm very sad that this has happened. And I do not know how you defend that challenge. I do not know. That's the goalkeepers. Goalkeepers, I understand, have to be aggressive, and goalkeepers have to do things that maybe seem a little crazy sometimes. But you can't put your opponent in that kind of jeopardy with your decisions.
For those who haven't seen it, it was a long ball, and Mateta and a defender are going up for it, and the goalkeeper comes out head high to jumping players' head height. So this is like 7 feet in the air, his foot is, and it's not like a jumping punch or anything like that. He leads with like a straight up, extended leg, and it hits him right across the side of the head. It's insane, to be honest. I mean, I understand, like, the Millwall coach said he was just a little bit late, but to be leading with your foot in that situation is pretty outrageous.
Right. Yeah, that's the scary thing. Like, what are you doing getting your foot up that high when there are bodies in front of you? Like, you can't. Watching Mateta's head snap back is yuck. Yuck.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on, get that bad taste out of our mouth, and you know what'll do that? Hitting the subscribe button to Morning Kick Round. We went well past the 1,000 subscriber mark. Thank you to everyone who's already done so, and if you haven't already, be the next, and then tell your family and friends to do so after that. Follow us on social media at MKickround, X, Instagram, and Blue Sky. write us a note. Gmail, morningkickaround@gmail.com. Or if you have a couple loose dollars you want to see this show be sustainable and grow, you can throw us some money. Ko-fi.com/morningkickaround.